After the abysmal, incoherent Inland Empire, I needed something to pick me up and lift my spirits. Heroin junkies in Edinburgh? Yeah, that'll do. Cooked up by Danny Boyle, who would later direct Slumdog Millionaire and 127 Hours, Trainspotting is a gritty yet frequently funny hit of clever, hard-hitting social commentary delivered straight to the vein. The film stars Ewan McGregor as Mark Renton, a young drug addict who hangs out with a bunch of misfits in the slums of Edinburgh. One feature of Trainspotting that I really like is how it almost defies the narrative convention of giving its characters arcs, and does so in an engaging way. Until the second half of the film, every attempt Mark makes to kick his heroin habit results in him falling back down into addiction again. Mark doesn't grow or develop for a long stretch of the film. Still, this works to the film's advantage and keeps us invested. Mark's failure to overcome heroin addiction elicits our sympathy, as he is a fairly friendly, likable character, at least when compared to the people around him. Moreover, the film's relatively short length and the turning points in the second act prevent us from viewing Mark's situation as hopeless. Watching Mark repeatedly succumb to addiction makes us more determined to see him succeed and kick the habit. Trainspotting is as much about control as it is about drugs and addiction. One last hit is a recurring phrase in Trainspotting. Every time he tries to quit, Mark takes one last dose of heroin for old time's sake and to bid farewell to the substance. Needless to say, this doesn't work out. In fact, one such final hit nearly kills him. Until Mark's parents intervene and lock him in his room for a surreal, deeply uncomfortable detox scene, Mark and his friends are dependent on heroin both for its addictive quality and as a release from their depressing, dead-end lives. But when Mark goes clean and finds some level of stability and happiness as a real estate assistant in London, Mark immediately appears stronger than before, and he arguably has nothing to escape from through drugs. Therefore, he is no longer dependent on heroin. Mark's reluctant reunion with his less than reputable friends and the drug deal they plan out pull him back into criminality, and he repeats his one last hit mantra, but with one crucial difference. The group selling a large stash of heroin to a couple of wealthy dealers symbolizes him rising above heroin to a position of control. In testing the heroin's purity and selling it off, Mark controls the drug. The drug no longer controls him. This state of control gives him the push to abandon heroin once and for all, as his final monologue implies, and live the better life he described in the film's opening. Effectively, the arc Mark finally undergoes has him grow from controlled to controller. I also admire Trainspotting for its fair approach in tackling drugs and drug culture. Trainspotting clearly depicts how harmful drugs are, as Mark and the others are reduced to dazed vegetables whenever they shoot up, but it also rightly acknowledges that drug addicts would not have started taking drugs if they weren't pleasurable. While I don't believe that drugs should be legalized, the film demonstrates how, if drugs were legalized or decriminalized, Mark and many other real drug addicts would not need to resort to robbery and other illegal activities to sustain their habit. Mark's parents and his volatile friend Begbie, Robert Carlyle, try to convince him to give up heroin, but since they are surrounded by their own vices, alcohol, smoking, gambling, bar fights, they come across as more than slightly hypocritical. The film also makes a good case for community improvement, for alleviating poverty and improving education, opportunities, and quality of living so that youths have less of a reason to escape through narcotics. While Trainspotting is, all things considered, against drug use, the film is very admirable in its balanced, double-sided take on the issue. Trainspotting's clever, satisfying narrative and fair social commentary are bolstered by a fun cast of characters and excellent performances. The main assortment of characters have entertaining, quirky personalities, and there are many laughs to be had even amid their melancholy and hardship. The grungy rock soundtrack is cool and fits the film's tone. The disturbing scenes of Mark hallucinating and overdosing are very vivid and creative, and Ewan McGregor delivers possibly the greatest performance of his career. All in all, Trainspotting is an excellent movie and earns 4.5 stars out of 5. Thanks for watching. Cheers.